Would I be the asshole if I didn't let my husband attend the baby shower or birth of our child? My husband, 29 yo, and I, 28 yo, have a daughter, 3 yo. He was happy when I told him she was a girl. We're having another, and when I had my ultrasound, I was told it was another girl. Again, my husband was happy. Turns out I was told wrong, and it's actually a boy we're having. NY my husband freaked out in excitement. His reaction to us having a boy was nothing like either of his reactions to having a girl. He was actually jumping around and yelling. He immediately called all his friends and family. He kept hugging and swinging our daughter around, telling her she's getting a brother. I confronted him about not being this excited about having girls, and he said, "'Cause I wanted a boy." I got so pissed off. I don't want him at the baby shower. I guess it's not really a baby shower as we're not asking for anything, but still, or the birth. He thought I was kidding at first, but once he realized I serious got really upset and started an argument over it. Would I be the asshole if I didn't let him attend the baby shower or birth? You are the asshole. Not wanting your husband to attend a baby shower and or the birth of his own child because he is excited about having a son, which you interpret years later as him having been insufficiently excited, for your personal taste, about having a daughter is, honestly, one of the most mind-numbingly dumb and asshole-ish things I've ever read in this sub. Not only are you the asshole, you're the asshole 1,000 times over. No judgment, as I would be disgusted too. But please talk with him after you've had a chance to reflect, and be honest about your feelings rather than doling out punishments. One thing to ask him is what your existing child might be unconsciously internalizing about her worth, based on his reaction to this, and how that's going to play out going forward. Am I the asshole for prioritizing my son's dog over my wife's pregnancy? When my son, 14, was 8, we got a dog. He's half Great Dane and half some dog my friend's dog met during an unauthorized absence. My son loves this dog and does all the care for him, except vet stuff, and is a very responsible dog owner. This dog is pretty much his best friend. My wife is 12 weeks pregnant, and ever since we confirmed the pregnancy she has been acting weird around the dog. She avoids him, puts her hands over her stomach when he is around and jolts whenever he makes noise. Today she told me she wants to rehome the dog. I asked her what she was talking about. She said she has been having anxiety that he will jump on her. This is completely unreasonable. He doesn't jump on people. We trained him not to jump on people or run into people very young because he is half Great Dane, and I felt this was important for all dogs, but especially one who could possibly grow to such a large size, which he did. There is no reason for her to think the dog will jump on her. She said that there is no way to know for sure that the dog won't jump on her, and if he does our baby could be hurt. This dog has never so much as growled at her. She said even if the dog doesn't jump on her, her anxiety about it is bad for her health. She said she needs the dog elsewhere for her safety and the baby's. I told her that there was no way. My son got this dog right after he lost his mom and imprinted on him hard. Sometimes I think he loves the dog more than me. I'm not taking his dog. The dog didn't do anything. My wife said I am prioritizing the dog over her pregnancy. The dog isn't a threat to her pregnancy. If this were any other unreasonable request, I would just do it because she is pregnant. I just can't break my son's heart over a fear she has. That makes no sense. Am I being an asshole? Not the asshole. Has she stopped driving? Has she started using a wheelchair so she won't fall? Is she refusing to use stairs? She needs some counseling, genuinely, not being rude, to figure out why she is only fixated on the dog and reacting to sound similar to PTSD symptoms. Did you train the dog not to jump because he pushed her over at some point? Was she pushed by a dog as a child or something? Something got in her head. Or she has always hated the dog and is manipulating you now that she sees her chance to get rid of it. I would microchip the dog, if you haven't already. Make sure info is up to date, and see if she will seek counseling. Compromise. Your kid needs his dog. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Animals are lifetime responsibilities. Pawning them off because she got pregnant would be a shitty thing to do. Would I be the asshole if I used part of my paternity leave to visit my family? My wife and I have been arguing about this for weeks and she suggested I post here. My wife is 16 weeks pregnant with our first child. We have been discussing how to use our family leave. Each of us get 8 weeks of family leave to be used within the first year of the baby's life. My wife is planning on taking her whole 8 weeks right when the baby is born. She thinks that I should take 2 weeks when the baby is born and 6 weeks when she goes back to work so that we don't need to put the kid in childcare until he's 14 weeks old. The issue is that I want to use 2 weeks of my paternity leave to visit my family who live out of state so I don't have to use vacation days. I gave her 2 options. 1. I can spend 6 weeks with the baby when she goes back to work but I won't take the first 2 weeks off. 2. I can take 2 weeks off when the baby is born and then 4 weeks off when she goes back to work. This is my preference. My wife says this is unacceptable and that I'm prioritizing my family over her and the baby. I disagree. I don't think it makes much of a difference if the baby starts daycare at 12 or 14 weeks. I only get to see my family once or twice a year since they moved out of state and I think this is a good opportunity to do so without it impacting our vacation time. I think her dislike of my family is affecting her logic in that, if they got along better, she would be fine with this arrangement. Plus, lots of men don't take paternity leave and their families manage. I'm still dedicating 6 weeks to the baby so we will have plenty of bonding time. Am I the asshole or is she being unreasonable? You are the asshole. Paternity leave is meant for you to be with the baby, not go on vacation. WTF? Why women have babies with men like you is beyond me. Person facepalming. You are the asshole. It's not just starting daycare at 12 weeks. It's leaving your wife behind with a newborn all by herself on top of working, while you go relax with your family. That is a seriously asshole move. You are clearly clueless about how draining having a baby is. If you go, you might come back to changed locks and divorce papers. You are the asshole. Unless you're planning on taking the baby with you when you go visit your family. Oh, and maybe your wife can go too? Nice try to get out of parenting a young baby for a whole fortnight, leaving your wife to cope completely alone back home. Disgusting asshole move. Am I the asshole for letting to be mansplained? Disclaimer: English is not my first language, apologies for any errors. My 28F partner, 30M, is very good at mansplaining. I don't like this term, but that's exactly what he does. Me will happily explain the most basic things. Sometimes he starts a discussion with, "Do you know what XYZ is? Do you know how XYZ works?" And, despite my answer, he will either explain it anyways, or he will try to challenge my knowledge. Oh, yeah? What is it then? I find it infuriating and I talk to him about it many times. He says he doesn't realize he does it and he does not try to offend me. He says he just feels like he needs to prove that he knows things. He's been doing so much better and watches himself when we talk, which is very much appreciated. The thing is he got it from his father, who does the same thing, and to be fair, is even worse. And #X200B. We were recently at his parents to see them and his sisters. We started talking about a subject I'm fairly comfortable with based on my knowledge. Unfortunately, the inevitable, "Do you know how XYZ happened?" question was asked by my partner's father. Which I politely replied, "Yes, I do, too." That was not enough and yet again, I got lectured in a friendly manner. My partner of course had to join in and they both were pitching me the whole subject, basically taking over each other to add as many details as possible. At that point, I had enough, so I decided to play along. I would exclaim, "Wow, that's cool, no, really, oh, I had no idea, left, right and center." I basically became a caricature of a nosy 4-year-old. This confused everyone in the room. Which lead to the following exchange. Partner. "I thought you said you knew it," said in a "gotcha" sort of way. Me. "Oh, I do. But you both decided to ignore it, so I thought I should do the same." Everyone went quiet. My partner and his dad both got upset, saying that I was incredibly rude and that I embarrassed them in front of their family instead of politely telling them that I knew those things already. Which obviously does not work. My partner's mother is on their side saying that it was rude of me, but his sisters say that both their brother and their dad have been asking for it for years. Not the asshole. So you being rude is a problem, but them ignoring your answer is rude and okay? Or is ignoring you just not rude? Not the asshole. He says he doesn't realize he does it and he does not try to offend me. He says he just feels like he needs to prove that he knows things. If this is the case, then he also will do this equally with other men, and at risk of making assumptions I'm willing to put money on him and his father not doing that. I'd say his sisters are right and these two mansplainers had it coming. You weren't rude, they're just having the natural cognitive dissonance that happens when you've been called out when someone knows they're in the wrong but the mind cannot accept that fact. So the other person must the rude asshole because it certainly couldn't be me. Not the asshole. Info. Why do you choose to stay with this person? Not the asshole. I love it when people use behavior back at people. This is a perfect example. Please explain until they work out they're the assholes. Love it.